So Mamshech Ba'Maimer, so this is to explain Vela Mishpatim Meshatosim Lifneihem to the Pnimius. So he continues there in the Maimer, this is the Alter Rebbe's Maimer. Shalhoven Zeh Shlahaktim Tchila Inyan Ha'Ovis Shehin in the Merkava, the Ovis of the Merkava. Right? Ve'im and Ikroim Mishem Ovis, only they are called Ovis, Maimer Azal, which means, as he goes on to say, the properties are bequeathed to every Jew. And Kedin Ovis, Elul Shloisha, only they are called forefathers, not the Shvatim. Behind the Shebchinas Ovis, Yerusha Livnei Machrim Echol Devadoir. That the Ovis is bequeathed to all Yidden, Shehem Meirishim is in Yoni Avidosam, the Kol Echad Vechad MiYisrael, which means that their Avodah is bequeathed to every Jew. Sholchen Yishbo Kol Echad Vechad MiYisrael. Gimel Madrega Shal Ovis, everybody has the three levels of the Ovis. V'archam Chazal, to the extent that Chazal say in the Medrash, Kol Echad Vechad MiYisrael Yochel Loimar, every Jew is able to say, Moishe Yigiu Maisei, the Maisa Avoisei, Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. When will my deeds reach the deeds of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Bashenkim Medeges HaShvatim, which is not the case of the Shvatim, Reuven, Shimon, Harayesh Lecha Adam, there are people, this is the Alter Rebbe, She'ein Boi Klal, Pchinas Umadreges Eilu. They don't have these levels at all. Ki Yim Madreges Ovis Dafka, only the Ovis. Now the Shaydach Tzorich L'Havin Lo Menikom B'Kolach V'Echad Mitzal Gam Madreges HaShvatim. It would seem the contrary. Why is it that not every Jew incorporates the Avodah of the Shvatim when they are lesser? To L'Chayre Kivin Sh'Madreges Ovis he L'Mayim Madreges HaShvatim, since the Ovis is a higher level. So if every Jew can reach their level, as just quoted from the Medrash, at least behaviorally, he can certainly reach the level of the Shvatim. In 200 exists 100. So the others are like 200, and the Shvatim are the level of 100. So if you have 200, you also have 100. You certainly have that. Who is going to bring out, however, the Anfal Pisha Shvatim Lamat Madrega Minovis, even though they're a low level, because Malkim Yeshbem Yisrin, Maila Ovis, they have an advantage over the Ovis. Achein Kol Adam Zeich Madrigos, and such, not every Jew merits their Madrega, their level. But Ayeladov, here's the Pasuk, Mashikosov, Loma Tasi Einu Hashem Midrachecha. So why do you lead us away from your ways? Because you created within us a Yitzhahara. Takshiach libeinu meyirasecha. You harden our heart from fear of you. That's a result of the Yitzhahara. What's our request? Shuv, return, laman avadecha shiftei nachalasecha. For the sake of your servants, the tribes of your inheritance or heritage. So what do we see? The tzarich to every Jew. More detail now the pasuk. The pasuk mentions drachecha, which we have strayed from, your ways, and your fear of you that our hearts have become hardened to. What's that? That's the avodah of Avraham and Yitzchak. Gone. So what are we requesting? In the schus, for the sake, l'man avodecha, shiftei nachalasecha, return to us. So this pasuk is saying the opposite, that the avodah of the others we have failed, but what's left to save us is the avodah of the Shvatim, which brings out the point that he's saying that there's a mile in the avodah of the Shvatim. As he now analyzes the pasuk, the hinei drachecha, your ways, hainu derech Hashem, that's the way of Hashem, of what Avraham ba'ava. Avram serving Hashem with love. It's also implied by the idea of a derech, which is a way, which is expressive, connects one location to the other. That's the nature of chesed and ava. That's exactly what it is. V'yiroscha, your fear, hainu yirav v'pachad Yitzchak. That's the fear and dread of Yitzchak. So this we're saying, v'alzen nam asher gam kasher t'sa'ein Hashem midrachecha. You have led us astray. You have hardened our hearts from your derech and from your yira. Hainu. Sheloi dai b'madregis ha'ovis. It's not enough. This is not sustaining us. The madreg of the office, we've lost it. Become mokim somehow, on some level. Shuv, return to us, still, l'man avadecha shifte nachalasecha. For the sake of your servants, the shvatim, shuyin ashvatim, that's the tribes. Conclusion from the pasuk is, mezeh muchach sheyesh koach godel yoseh b'shvatim in office. There's something greater in the avodah of the shvatim over the office. That Hashem should return, as it were, and reveal this to Knesset Yisrael, in whose sake, in whose merit, in their merit, because that's their avodah. So we're left with this contradiction. The contradiction is that everybody has the union of the office. The pasuk says we can lose it, and everybody gets what? As a response to our entreating the Almighty, the inyan of the avodah of the shvatim. So that is shaykh to everyone, even when we've lost the avodah of the others. So we have to reconcile and understand all of this, and the answer is v'klon yimbazeh she'ovis inyan merkava. So now he goes to the whole arichis and the avodah of the others. So the others, they are the merkava. Hainu b'chinas p'nei arya, p'nei sher, p'nei nesha. So the merkava, the divine chariot which Yecheskel sees. So it is described as there are 4 faces, and all the faces have 4 faces themselves, and they are a lion, an ox, an eagle, and a human face. And then there is a throne at the top of the chariot, and then there is what's on top of the throne, the Adam Shalakise, the supernal man. That is an overall description of Yecheskel's Nevuah. Which is Daf Torah Parshas Yisro, Shavuos. So he describes there as follows: so the 3, Aryeh, Sher, and Nesher, the lion, the ox, and the eagle. So he describes in the Aryeh, you mean the right side, the right face is the face of the lion. What's the meaning of right? Right is Giloi Chinas HaChesed. So the lion, interestingly, embodies the attribute of Chesed. That's the Avodah, Avad Avram. That's the Avram. That's Avram Avinu. Pnei Shoel Mashmoel, the face, the image of an ox. To the left is restraint, holding back Pchinas Agvura. So that's when Pachad Vayir Yitzchak. That's the Avodah of the dread and the Yir of Yitzchak, as the pasuk describes. Upnei Nesher Kavem Tzoyin, in the center is the image of the eagle. That's Pchinas Tiferes. That's Tiferes, which is the harmony of the right and the left, which is Shingen Harachmim. That's Rachmim. And simply Rachmim, compassion, is the fusion of Chesed and Gevurah. Chesed says you get unconditionally. Gevurah says you get entirely conditionally. And compassion says, well, we'll give you a little bit out of compassion to motivate you, and so on. Rachamim is, as we've explained many times, Tiferes is empathy. Ki yadua shenesher Rachmani, the eagle is merciful. That's the trait of the eagle. So who is that? Midas shel Yaakov. That's the midah of Yaakov. Interesting to explore this begashmi, is how you see it, but I'm sure it's fairly obvious. So what's Yaakov? Tiferes. Next page. I don't know if you have the same layout. Next page. Gam Chesed, the Gevurah of Avram Yitzchak, incorporates the avodah of Chesed and Gevurah of Avram Yitzchak. K'mishakosov, as he says, Yaakov says, Lekei Ovi, the God of my father, Lekei Avram, the God of Avram, Upachad Yitzchak, and the God of the dread of Yitzchak, who Yitzchak served out of fear, Hayali stood by me. So the meaning Hayali means that they're invested in me. That's Tiferes. However, that's the Ovis. So the Ovis is the Aryeh, the Shoer, and the Nesher. Omdam b'chinas pnei Adam shekelu kulam. But then there's the fourth phase, the pnei Adam, that incorporates all of them. And he says to look in the Zohar about them, the Psukim, I have to look it up over there, but the Psukim describe it there as there's four faces of an Adam, and each of the four faces have the three images I just described. So the Shekelu Kulam is in Parshas Aksubim. Clearly does not mean that. He says, sends us to the Zohar, so I have to see what it says there. So the level of the Adam, the image of the Adam that bears aloft the chariot, is connected directly to the supernal Adam that sits upon the throne upon the chariot. Who is this Pnei Adam? Fascinatingly, it's the Dafke Yud Beishvatim. It's the Yud Beishvatim that they embody, not the face of Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, but the Adam. Sheheim, the Yud Beis, the 12 Shvatim, Daled, the Golim, Sheklulim, Bedaled, Oises, Shemavai. They are the four encampments that they encamped around the Mishkan in the four directions, the Golim as they call it. The four camps, literally flags, which represent the Daled, Oises, Shemavai, which is loftier than the Avodah, the Madrege of the office, paradoxically, or rather strangely. Let's continue. This is reflected in Kriya Shema. What's reflected? What we're talking about now, the Avodah of the office and the Avodah of the Shvatim. How so? Krishma sheyesh by Gimel Aves. So Krishma has the three loves. So these three loves, as it goes on to explain, it appears in this Gimel. Shem Gimel Madreg is the Ovis, Shein Merkava. That's the three levels of the Ovis, which are the Merkava. Again, the vehicle, bottle telikus, like a vehicle is completely surrendered to the driver. It has no independent will whatsoever. Shein Merkava, the Pnei Shor, the Pnei Arya, Pnei Nesha. They are the Merkava. They are bare aloft. Well, they are the Merkava. The chariot is made up of these four even wheels, as they describe sometimes, of the Pnei Shor, Pnei Arya, and Pnei Nesha. Lofty as this is, Adayin Ein Ze B'chinas Pnei Adam. The Avodah of Krishma is not the Avodah of Pnei Adam. And where is that? Shenase L'achar Tefillah. That's after davening altogether. Al Yedei Limud HaTorah Dafka, as he'll explain in Sif Hey. If you've noticed, in the Maamarim here, there's a great emphasis on the Ma'il of Limud HaTorah. The Ma'il, the Parshas Yisrael Maimer, and even earlier. Just as an aside, apparently the Rebbe told Reb Nissen, I told you this once, that the Maimer Shabbos is in accordance with how the Bachrim learned that week. In Machlal, those years, 1964, those years produced today's Rosh Yeshivas and Mashpiyim. And there was a big koch in learning then. 770 was much smaller, but it was a very talented group there of big lamdonim. A large crop of them. And the Rebbe was demanding of them in a limud HaTorah b'shkita b'asmada, and in great depth. We're learning it, so it's talking to us. Gimel or Bir Inyan Gimel Avos that explain the three loves of B'chol Levavcha, B'chol Nafsha, B'chol Ma'itcha. Sheheim, they are Gimel Madregis, the Avos, Shein HaMerkava. This is the three levels of the Avos, the Merkava, the divine chariot with the Pnei Shor, Pnei Arya, Pnei Nesha. Hinei Seder HaAvodah U'Minakala L'Kavod. The Seder HaAvodah is we progress from the lesser to the greater, to the lighter to the heavier. The first level is with all your heart. That's the first attainable level of love. And only from there one can reach the level of with all your soul, with all your might. It's only this level that can be described as truly fulfilling the will of the Eibishter. It's referring to the Gemara in Parshas and the Marsha, and no doubt you remember what this whole inyan is. To remind you, the Gemara is, just to cut to the chase, the Gemara says that if you do the will of Hashem, then others will tend your flocks and reap your produce. And if you don't, you'll do so yourself. So the question is, how does it describe if you listen to God's commandment? You will reap your crops. That's a reward for obedience. How could that be described as not fulfilling the will of Hashem? After the goncha, you'll get gathering your grain, your vine and your corn. So the Maharsha explains, and Chassidus quotes it, the second parsha of the Shema is not Eis in Eternal Shemokim because it's missing B'chol Ma'itch. It's tak obedience, but Retzoyne Shemokim. And moreover, Eis in Eternal Shemokim implies not only we fulfill God's will, but we create the will. We make His will. If a decree is such, He has the power, He makes the will. But that's the only which is in the first parsha of the Shema. So that's described. We're clear. The B'chol Ma'itcha Dafke is this highest description of fulfilling, even more, creating, making the will of Hashem. That's the outline. Yeah? The matter is as follows. Excuse me. Time is with us this morning, no. I'm smiling. This is the beginning of Avodah. With all your heart, and of course with two bases there. Why doesn't the pasuk say b'chol lipcha? So it's an allusion to Maimar Azal. The Gemara says in Parshas, Rashi brings it, Vishnei Yitzarecha, with both your inclinations. There's many explanations to that. He gives you a pretty lofty one, but there is an explanation. What do you mean to love the Eibishter with the Yetzer Hara? What does this mean? So Chassidus is transforming it and channeling it. But B'shtei Tzerech is that in Poshet you like to eat. You like to eat. So eat kosher. Just channel this in kosher areas. That's the simplest meaning, or one of the simplest meanings. But here he says, even though the Yitzhak himself, mis'avil in Yoneilam Hazeh, the Yitzhak desires material matters, chulu, etc. More than just material matters. These can get more complicated than that. He transforms this love to the love of God. Now, how can that be possible? He wasn't to say omnam. More elaboration, even though even though there's a great maila, great virtue transforming the foreign love, it's foreign to God, of the Nefesh Abamis, at least Hashem levadid, that Nefesh Abamis should love Hashem alone. Now, how is this done? So this is the first maimid that we learn as children, the Adam Ki Yaakov. because this is not really foreign to the Nefesh Abamis, it's where you come from. That's really what you're looking for. This is really the restlessness. This is the insatiable appetite for more, because you come from Toyo, that's higher than Tikkun. You come from a higher place than the Neshama. It's had Nefesh Abamis, because Nefesh Abamis actually is a higher source than the Nefesh Alikis, the higher overt source. We do not speak of the Chelek Elakam, the Mamish component. We're talking the Chelek Elakam Yamal. There, that's Atzilus. Nefesh Abamis is Toyo. Mamish is already the Etzem, but that's the Etzem. We're talking about the overt source. So the overt source is higher. Olam HaToyo, where Olam HaToyo means it's fundamentally bli gvul, and the gvul cannot contain it, which is when Nefesh Abamis is by nature out of control and resists being controlled, because his shaydish is this bli gvul Olam HaToyo. So the whole avodah is not to break him, but really to channel him, crazy and wild and never satisfied. That's because really you're looking for the Eibishter. So you're going to find it in the Yiddishkeit. Commissioner Kosov, so Toyo precedes Tikkun. As the Pasuk says in the Parshas Vayishlach, Ve'elam Lachim, referring to Esav's descendants. Esav is the firstborn. That's why he's Elam HaToyo, and he's wild and crazy. These are the Kizeshem Molcha Beretz Edom Lifnei Mlach Melech B'nai Yisrael. These are the kings. Enumerates their kings, their dynasties, their fiefdoms, their monarchies before they ruled a king in Israel. It's kind of strange why the pasuk but mention that these are the kings. What's before? The pasuk is hinting to the Toyo is higher than Olam Atzilus, which is Melech Mlach Melech B'nai Yisrael. Fascinating, like almost staring you in the face at the Pshat level. What's in the Geya as we're identifying Esav's kings before there was a Jewish king, which comes way later, Shaul, David HaMelech. Like Pnimius HaTorah right there, transparent. I'm sure there's reasons in Pshat. I never looked into it. I don't know. Akoponim v'lachei nikra Esav b'no HaGod. That's why she is her oldest son, as the pasuk describes her, Rivka's oldest son. Ukidu agam being in big day Esav Chamuda. He says it's no. I didn't look this up. Esav's desirable clothing that he inherited from Nimrod. So these levushim, it's all that his garments, it's all tied into his higher shayrish. He had these very desirable garments that she had to hide from his own wives. So all to say, it's a tremendous avodah, gewalt. If we take that Nefesh Abamis and we transform him, we megala his shayrish. This, by the way, is why, tell me, this whole thing we just described now is why davening, every day in davening, which we're about to do. Why what? Birchas Krishma. More hint. Birchas Krishma describing the avodah of the Malachim. So they're rooted also in Tohu. It's all really to bring to bear the shaydish of the Nefesh Abamis. Mishmar Yafanim. I mean, his source is in Toyo, but it's filtered through the excretions of the Yafanim, Malachim. So it's all to say, this is not foreign to me. I come from this. So it isn't about changing. It's about really the deepest satisfaction, the deepest pleasure that Nefesh Abamis seeks. The end is in the likus. So it's a gewaldige level, but guess what? It's only b'chol levavcha. Can't stop there. Let's keep on going. Mikom can do it. Mikom so notwithstanding this tremendous avodah, this is like someone who is distant who became close. Gershon is guy, someone overtly distant that now becomes close. Shetchila, at the outset, overtly, before the Shodesh is revealed. The outset, the Nefesh Abamis is in a state such that Hashem says they're brothers, and I hate Esav. And then you become closer. There's a big mile to that, but still, there's a deeper love. And it's incomparable. Everything has its mile. Speaking now, this mile of the kidduv, the avos haben la'av av laben. There's a deeper love, which is familial, which is more cellular. The love of a father to a child, the child to a father, and a father to a child. That's already a higher love, which we unlock. There's all these levels in our relationship with Hashem. One who is distant who comes close. And then there's a deeper love of the child. What's that? That's with all your soul. Which soul are you talking about? This is an innate, natural love that the Nefesh Elikis has. It's a part of Hashem. Yeah, we're clear. So that's a deeper love. The godly soul that was always connected and always a part of Him. At the end of the day, Nefesh Abamis is a creation, a very high source, but it's a creation. So at the end of the day, there's always this other. But the neshama is not a creation, it's a chelik of the kam yamal mamish, and therefore it's a much deeper love, a deeper bond. So all these loves exist concurrently. Likewise, in a marriage, there's the element of strangers becoming one, overcoming the distance, and then there's the element of two half souls. And then there's the third love, but we'll get that in a moment. And then the fourth. So these two loves we're describing now, with all your heart, with all your soul. Who's that? Beza Av is the Avram, that's Avram P'nei Aryeh, the lion, Yitnu P'nei Shor, the ox. I know. Interesting. How is the love of all your heart with both inclinations? Nasis, it's done. It's not two separate levels. It's done. Just said a moment ago, yeah, let's reconcile. Just said before, two separate, right? B'chol levavcha is a foreigner, that's Nefesh Abamis. B'chol nafshecha is Nefesh Elikis. Now he's saying, linking the two, he's saying that the first love is achieved through the fire of Yitzchak. So what it means is that Nefesh Abamis has got to be inspired by the Rishpei Eish of the Nefesh Elikis. It's the Av of B'chol Nafshecha that inspires the Av of B'chol Levavcha. I want to be part of this too. What do you have there that I'm seeking? I know. So this is the Rish Be'esh, the Ketusha, the Pach, Yitzchak Kainu Sheyore Li Is Nifred. Now it manifests, Yitzchak is about fear. It's a fear. I don't want to be distant. I got to be part of this. I don't want to be separate. And then that transforms the foreign, unholy fire and love of Nefesh Abamis. Yeah. Oh, your friends are making a mistake. No, because he's saying. I said it's true. It's from the Rish Beish of Kedusha, but even though Avram comes first and Yitzchak comes later, in the Avos it's not that way. The Ava is B'chol Levavcha is Yitzchak, and B'chol Nafshecha is Avram. Okay, so just tweak that a bit. Let's rethink that. So b'chol levavcha is the avodah transforming of the nefesh habamis. How it's the rish beish of kedusha of Yitzchak, and it engenders the nefesh habamis must have this. He's afraid to be separate, and he wants to be part of this flaming fire kedusha of. It's all the nefesh halikis, the pachad Yitzchak. It's of kedusha, but that's what transforms the Shnei Yitzerecha, that I want to be part of this love, part of this connection, afraid to be separate. That's b'chol levavcha. When does nefesh habamis learn to be afraid to be separate? When it sees the rish be'esh of the nefesh halikis. So the two bases, Yetzer Tov, nefesh halikis, and Yetzer Hara. It's the rish be'esh of the nefesh halikis that inflames the nefesh habamis to want to be connected. And that's the avodah of Yitzchak. It's the ava. We're talking about hafta. Even though Yitzchak is yira, so we're reconciling this. What's the nature of the love? Afraid not to be connected. Afraid to be lonely. That's our deepest fear. So nefesh habamis thought till now that he's going to find wholeness in this, that, or the other nilam hazeh, and the ends up feeling empty and lonely. And now he sees through the av of the nefesh, the fire of the nefesh halikis, that this is where he'll find his quest, and he doesn't want to be lonely anymore. So that's the av of b'chol levavcha. That's Yitzchak, the rish be'esh of Yitzchak. The yira component of av. Yeah. We have to learn further, friends. Okay. Then comes the next page of av b'chol nafshecha. Yibchinas ha'avad Avraham. That's the av of Avraham b'chol nafshecha. And that's pure nefesh halikis. Shikim ava, the nefesh halikis mitzad atzma. This is like. Why you say like? It is or it isn't. It's the love of nefesh halikis mitzad atzma. Pure godly love. The nefesh habamis is part of, but now the Jew experiences his own neshama and his own neshama's love for Hashem. Goodness, the next two lines. No, you can stop here. It goes on to say that that's Bakbola, and then comes Bachon Ba'itcha, and that's Yaakov, and that's still not the Shvatim, which is a fourth level, which he said already told us earlier, is Dafkan Limit Torah. Okay, we'll see. So it's Yitzchak, interesting Seder. Yitzchak, Avraham, Yaakov.